Hello, I would like to inform you that you're about to listen to a lot of bullshit comments. So you might not agree with them, but that's the way of the world. Everyone has different opinions to you, so please don't cancel any of us. Please, and I hope you enjoy the podcast. Roll the weirds, chit.
Hello, everybody. This is the Ed Talks About podcast, a somewhat weekly podcast talking about cosplay, Comic Con, and everything else. I'm your host, Eddie, and this week it's another Dear Diary podcast because I haven't done one in an age, and I think I owe you guys a podcast if anyone's keeping score and things like that. So, I thought I'd do one of these. So I'm actually going to be. So this is, I think, as if I planned this correctly, this is coming out one day earlier than it usually should do, but I've missed a week, so I'm making up for that one. So, and there's loads of things that happened. I mean, I was meant to do this. So a lot of things I was meant to do. So I was thinking I was going to record this. When was I meant to record this? Look, I was going to record this like on a Friday or something like that, and that's my phone bipping, but that's fine. I don't mind you hearing that bipping. It's all me. It's fine. Let's say so. Very raw this podcast, and but yeah, I've already recorded what's coming. Actually, this coming Wednesday, or the next episode, depending on how you're listening to this. And I mentioned very briefly about the 19th of July CrowdStrike incident that. I was affected by that quite a bit. So at my job, I managed the IT equipment in there, and basically everything just went down. Everything for some reason, not just the computers, but for some reason our internet went down. Our servers were gone as well. I'm like, oh no! And literally, I was up to my eyeballs of just trying to manage what was working, what was not, ascertain who I should point the fingers at, especially with the internet going, hey, is this working? Is that working? And anyway, it's a long story short. I was there for about 12 hours that day and trying to get things working. And yeah, I was very stressed that day. I was very emotional as well. So yeah, if anyone says to me, "Oh, should I get into IT?" No. Should I get into photography? No. Those are my two advice I would give to people straight away. I think the last time I did a Dear Diary was in February time, and I was actually in a different country at that time. I think. I don't know these days. It seems so weird to talk about these things. So basically, Dear Diary is basically to say what I've done for the last couple of. Well, I'm assuming in diary you meant to do it daily, but I screwed up badly. I'm trying to have a look at things. What's this say? This says, oh. Oh yeah, I did a few. I've done a few location shoots with people. So, not for my food and cosplay brand, but for my other brand HKC, and that's how you pronounce it, by the way, just in case. And yeah, just been shooting with her because we always have this. I came with this stupid running joke, and only because we were just shooting one year after the other. But I said, "Oh, here comes our yearly photo shoot," and we've there was 1 year we never shot. I'm going, oh, okay then, maybe I'm not good enough and things like that. But basically, she was just busy, or something, life got in the way, and that's fine. When life gets in the way, it's absolutely fine. These things you can't plan for. So, I didn't see her for a year, and then all of a sudden, lo and behold, 3 times this year I've been shooting with her. Is it 3? What? 1, 2, 3. I want to say 4. No, it's 3. It's definitely 3. Yeah, and yes, I've been shooting with her. So that was fun. It was really good. I mean, as I've mentioned many a times, I think the way that my brain works, I like to shoot many different things. I don't want to keep shooting the same, like either the same character, the same theme, the same style all the time. I want to vary up from time to time. And what she does when she models for me absolutely really fits the way that my mind works of just saying, oh, something different, something, or obviously something shiny. I'm going, oh, magpie. So yeah, that's been quite cool. And I've yeah, I've had good times. I've had really fun times working with Purple Muffin. I think she's a model where I can just literally tell her what to do. No, I don't have to tell her anything. She just does it, and I just get the best angles that I can. I say, "Oh, hold it there, shoot here, shoot there." I'm at a distance and close up, and I like to think that we work really well together. And not to say that when I work with other people, they're not been as good. And I work with a lot of people that are equal as good as Purple Muffins, better than Purple Muffins, and a little less than. But it doesn't matter because it helps me, in a sense, guide me better to like how to then work with different people who may not know what to do or have different levels of experience with modelling. And I have no issue. I want to have that experience because I don't believe everyone has the same ability, and it's not right to go, oh, they were difficult. No, they're not maybe difficult. They just may not know, and you need to give them a helping hand. Like, which podcast was it? How I think we're doing, yeah, we're doing. Am I wrong? Can't remember who it was now, and I need to find out. Which were? I found the podcast. Who was it with? Shadow Bright. That's it. Shadow Bright was talking about how, if you don't have photography should be a bit more vocal about telling the cosplay how to put, and I 100% agree with that. But like I said, there's some people who don't know, and it's a bit difficult for them, and so therefore I think, like I said, the photographer should definitely step in and help. And this will help me. So don't ever think, oh no, Eddie doesn't want to shoot with those who don't know how to model. No, I kind of do, so that helps me improve my vocal skills, my communicational skills, and things like that. Yeah. If we're sticking to the photography thing for the time being, I have spent a few sessions now shooting for my HKC website, which for a while I have been. It took me forever to get through that backlog of photos. I took so many photos that day. What happened was there's meant to be a few photographers that day, but more or less every photographer dropped out except for me. I'm going, oh, okay, okay, so that means I'm the primary one. Cool. And yeah, again, another stressful. I don't deal with stress. Has anyone noticed this? And so it was at this studio called Murder Mile, and if you haven't Googled it and you haven't quite guessed what, from what I'm saying, the venue is like, it is basically, sex dungeon. It's a sex dungeon, and it's fine. It is fine. It's those things that I'm starting to get used to, and I have no opinions on it. So, if that's your thing, great. If not, I'm sorry. I'm going to be talking about it, and if you want to skip ahead, you may skip ahead. But yeah, it was a fun. It was, again, I was working with people. It's half and half that I've worked with and haven't worked with, and again, it just informed me how much communication is key, how much I can deal with people. Some people who can't, who doesn't like, may not like a certain style or a certain direction. I went, okay, I'll modify it, and then it's again working on your feet and things like that. It was a fun long day though, very long. I remember actually that night I didn't get much sleep for some reason. I was tossing and turning, so I was really knackered that night actually. So yeah, that was fun. So yeah, I'm looking at my phone, my diary, because I tend to actually go through. I tend to put things into my diary, what's happening. But yeah, mainly the next thing that probably came up was probably my. Oh no, I'm going to a lot of theatres recently. I really have. The first one that's popped up on my list is the Mind Mangler, which is if you know either the show called The Show That Goes Wrong, or The Crew, the Mischief Company, I think they're called. One of the original actors in that community did a Mind Mangler show, and it's a half and half of magician, but actually scripted stage work, and it's absolutely amazing. It's no longer in production. I don't think you can see it anymore. If there's online clips you can watch go through it, but it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I actually got to be on stage, and it kills me. It kills me that I didn't have a friend with me that day. I went on my own, and no one took a picture of me on that day. On stage, it really killed me. I've got no proof of it. I've got no memories of me being on stage, but then are the breaks that no one came with me. So yeah, that's fine. I then did my birthday shoot. I hire out a studio in Manchester, no, Stockport area called, no, Manchester, Stockport, no, wait, I think Stockport. Okay, now I have to Google it now. Oh my god, all this time, and I still don't know where it is. It's called Montrose Studio. I think it is in Stockport. It says Stockport. Yeah, it's in Stockport. So yeah, I hope you like my clicky clackly keyboard. I love that studio so much. It's a venue I'm very very comfortable in. It's big space, lots of different backgrounds. I really would recommend it. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not been told to do this or do that. I really would. It's a personal recommendation from me. The only thing I would say is that you make sure you bring food with you. There's no food nearby that you can get really, but they're really nice people. If you need advice about using this venue, please give me a shout. I've posted many photos of their stuff on my pages, both the Food and Cosplay and my other site. So yeah, I did my poster. So who did I have that day? Oh, I had the lovely. Oh no, who did I have? God, I've got mind blank as well. Oh gee, I know who I had. I can see their faces, but I'm really bad with names, and that is a really poor excuse, but that's the absolute truth. It was all Food and Cosplay stuff. Hang on, I know I can't pronounce her name, but it's Stralias. I don't know. I always get very, very what's the word? Flustered. Flustered is the word when I try a name. But say her name. Say my name. Say my name. But yeah, Australia. Oh, I'll put. No, you'll find it on my website. You'll find it on my socials. Oh God, where is it? But yeah, Sammy Dodgy. Is it Sammy Dodger? Like Jammy Dodger. God, I'm really a mind blank at the moment. Who else? Because I definitely have 4. Oh, Bitten and Smitten. That's it. Oh, geez. Honestly, I am honestly just not having a great day today. And Emmy Cat 555. Yeah, those 4 people. Smitten and Bitten. No, Bitten and Smitten. Emmy Cat 555. Sammy Dodger. And Sriyazia. I know I've butchered that name, but like if you've lasted this long with me, I've like not just this episode podcast, but the other episodes I've recorded, you've done well. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm like. So yeah. And I've always enjoyed doing something on my birthday. I think there's one time I did a birthday doing nothing, and it really actually, I did say to myself, oh God, why did I do that? That's such a horrible thing. No, let's do something. And I came to the idea of like, oh, let's do photo shoots out on my birthday, and just I tend to invite people I've worked with before who I feel I could trust, but not have the same people, or have I've always I want to shoot with you, but we never get a chance. Well, let's do it in the studio. So it's that type of thing. And I like to think I've had different people each time, so that one, it helps improve the profile of the studio, my portfolio, and things like that. And yeah, I just love it. So yeah, it was a really fun day that day, and yeah, it was good. But some sad and bad news. I got sick about a week or 2 after that. What happened was that, long story short, visiting my nephew in hospital. He's fine now. No need to worry and panic. I think I'm sure I've mentioned this on the podcast. But basically, I picked up the cold and the flu. I'm sure it's from the parents. From the parents, my sister and my brother-in-law. They both had it, different versions of it. And I must have caught both at the same time, because I remember recording a podcast on a Monday. Tuesday I was going to edit it, and then also I felt a cold shiver. and then went, oh God, no, I need to go to bed, and just slept and died for about 3-4 days. And there's something I really want to mention this, and I think something that it's very hard for me to admit out loud or just to describe it really, but basically I isolate myself without realizing it because I didn't want to obviously leave the home. I really couldn't leave the home. I think I was so ill. I was so cold and shivering all the time. But I just want to say that that was a real low point in my life because I felt so alone, so isolated, and for some reason I didn't put onto social media or onto my personal Facebook page or things like that saying that, oh, I'm ill, could someone just talk to me? You know, one or two of my friends knew, but I didn't go out my way to tell people. And honestly, I was not well. I wasn't feeling great, and I really wanted to like talk about the loneliness I felt in that period, and I really don't like being or feeling that lonely ever. And I just want to say that if you haven't heard from a friend for a while, drop them a message. Drop them seriously, just drop them a message. Just say hi, how's things, how you go? Haven't heard from you in a while. I hope you're doing all right. They may not reply back, depends on who they are and things like that. But some people might see that and go, oh my God, they thought of me. I'm reaching out. And by the way, please do not see this as me trying to get people to message me. Don't. I'm okay now. I've gotten over my hump about the loneliness that I felt during that time. It still floats in my head every so often, but it was a real bad time in my life. I will admit that, and I will have to do better next time when I'm ill. I have said I think I have to admit that I have to actually tell people about it. I've got to actually, inform people that I'm ill so that I can get that sympathy that I was yearning for, looking for. So, and I know that's a very selfish thing to say, but that's what I wanted. I really wanted, and I think there's a lot of people, if you're listening to this, will go, yeah, that is a selfish thing to ask for that attention, but who doesn't? Because if you're ill, and you just want someone to look after you or just someone to talk to. So yeah, because the reason, okay, so I talked about that being ill, and the reason I mentioned it because I was meant to see another stage show called the Minority Report. Now, you might think that's a great thing to see, and I thought it was based off the Tom Cruise film of the same name. Oh no, it was one of. I've only recently gone to theatre shows, and it's one of the worst stage shows that I've seen. I couldn't tell if it was the bottom of the barrel professional acting or top level Amdram acting. That's how bad the acting was at times. I just couldn't tell. And if you're doing Amdram, I'm very sorry that I've used you as an example, but that's how I felt because visually it was okay, but everything around it, some actors were all right, the others were just a bit. Oh, I don't know. I think there was some bad choice. But again, this is my opinion. If someone else went into that show and enjoyed it, look, that's your opinion against my opinion. So yeah, that was it. But I was still coughing and recovering from that flu for a long time. I eventually got out and about and saw some faces and things like that. And then obviously I took a couple of days off work and then went back. And again, I think when I went into work because I needed to see faces. I needed to see other people. And I know I could have infected and got people ill. Look, I was being selfish. I know it. But I hope people who know me or who are listening to this and thinking, I hope they can understand where I'm coming from. So yeah. I by the way, I did test if it was COVID with I will admit, an out of date kit, and it said no. So, that was at least an indicator that I didn't have it. But I know deep down that it was out of date, so I can't prove I wasn't COVID. So yeah. What else? Oh yeah, there's my Minority Report. Looking at and then I started planning for MCM London, which is, I've always said is one of my favourite events of the year because I can really sit down and focus who I want to shoot with when they book me, what they what they're cosplaying, and then googling what poses and scenery that I should be looking out for when I'm taking cosplays to it. And I want to say this at this junction is that when I'm at MCM London, and I don't want to sound like I'm egotistical, I don't want to sound like I'm toot my own horn too much, but I do feel like I'm one of the hardest working photographers at the Comic Con. And I'm not suggesting, I don't want to shit, on other people's workflow and things like that. If, I know I've mentioned how I don't like people shooting at the grey walls or sticking up light stands and being stuck in one spot. If that's their version of hard work, if that's what they want to do, fair enough. I can't tell them any other way. I've tried, and they go back. They keep doing what they're doing. That's fine. I've said my piece and the things like that. But for me, I feel like, look, I take the cosplay, I go to a venue or an area which I think that'll suit the cosplay so well. I try to get angles which are not always the same. I always try to think how I want to pose them, especially with my pose sheet. I'm going from one area to another area. I'm always walking back to my starting point, which is always the statue. So if everyone wants to find me to say hello, that's where I'll be. So I'm always going up and down thing. And I like I said, I walk a lot. Do you know? I want to see how many steps I did that whole weekend. I think, where would that be? Where would it be? Where would it be? There we go. How far back does this go? It's going to be a lot, I think. Oh, hello. Oh god, there's so much data here. God, these phones do take a lot of data. That's all I'm going to say. That's in May. That's what I wanted. Oh, hang on. I thought that said May 2003. I went, whoa, that is way off. Oh, July. I can't find it. It's not telling me. Oh, well. Oh, steps. Here we go. Month. There we go. Here we go. Ooh. Okay. Okay, so on the Friday I did 23,500 steps. Saturday 27, just under 27 and a half, and Sunday 19 and a half steps. And that includes obviously walking, traveling to the stations and things like that. But yeah, also just to say, I do have lunch. I plan in minimum an hour, but I hope, an hour and a half for lunch, and that's fine. And also, just want to say it also at this junction, if you book with a photographer and you don't turn up, send them a message. Say, I'm sorry, I can't make it. Please, I'll give up my time to something else, or I'm really sorry, I'm stuck at another shoot. So sorry. If you do not message them, you'll be blacklisted. I have just blacklisted someone. If they apologise, I might let them off, but I don't think I'll ever, if they message me and not mention it, I think I might cancel their scheduled slot, because that says to me they're not trustworthy. Sorry, so slur my words. So yeah, I just want to give out that advice. It's end of July now, but I've just started editing the MCM photo. Like I said, I had just such a huge backlog of photos because when I was ill, that really drained me. I had no motivation to do anything, and that really included editing photos. And I know people are excited to want to see those photos back, and I always do them in chronological order because I always feel like if I jump ahead and edit some people's photos early, I feel like that's favoritism, and I don't want people to go, hey, I was at that event, and why have they got their photos and I don't have mine? I don't want to be known for that. I want everyone to get their photos at the same time, and if some people have to wait a little longer than others, and that's that's how they work. And if you don't like that, again, I don't mind if you want to go to a different photographer, if you want to go to a different photographer and pay extra for it. to get your photos expedited quicker. I'm not suggesting that is the right way to do, but I just know that practice is there. So things like that. So yeah, it's really interesting that. Oh, I've just seen what else is it's on my diary. But yeah, the you know I don't get me wrong, like MTM London and like any other Comic Con, it's the same like anything. It's the same thing year after year. It's the same, in a sense, almost the same set of people. The venue doesn't change too much. The layout of the con hall, it doesn't change. The stall owners don't really change too much. I think changes, but for some reason my brain doesn't recognise see patterns and things like that with the artist alleys and things like that. But I just enjoy it because I think for me, I love seeing the mass people and the people I potentially could work with. I did do this. I did this year stick to my schedule and didn't shoot anyone beyond who I either pre-arranged with. Maybe when I say pre-arranged, like there may be people on my Facebook. I said they said, "Oh, I'm at Comic Con." I said, "Oh, if you catch me, stop me, and I will take some photos." And that's pre-arranged in that sense. But I stuck to my schedule and I really didn't do much more than that. And looking at my workload now, I think actually this is pretty good. I don't feel too over. What's the word? What's the word? There's no dread trying to edit these photos now. I don't look at it with like, I don't feel anxious looking at these photos and things like that. Anyway, I think the next big milestone for me. I've been trying to plot to go back to this show before it leaves the shores, but I was very fortunate that I got to see Spirited Away, the stage show in London, and for me, best show, absolute best show. I have seen My Neighbor Totoro on stage as well. I think me and my sister, who I took for her Christmas present, see My Neighbor Totoro. We can see it again with her son, my nephew, same person, next year, and that might be fun. Although I try to keep pinning her down for a date, she doesn't. She's not giving me one. But Spirited Away for me was so well done. It is scene for scene the exact same film to stage, being a little bit longer and an extra song or two. Really, the way they did the puppetry was absolutely amazing. I loved every moment of it. I think the puppetry was good in Spirited Away, but it was funnier in My Neighbor Totoro. I think both shows really captured what made the film, the animation, what it was in each film. And I really desperately want to see Spirited Away again, but the tickets are so expensive. I think when I look now, there's only about 3 weeks left of the show, and really the tickets are about £150 each. And like, I don't know if I've got £150. Let's put it this way, I can spend £150. I don't know if I can really spare that. I'm hoping anyone is listening to this who have seen Spirited Away will agree to me how great it is. I've got a few merch from that show, t-shirts. I've got 2 pin badges the same. One's still in its cellophane wrapper. The other is on my work lanyard. I love it. It's basically if you've seen the show, seen the film, it's no face and it does say London Coliseum underneath it. So it can only come from that show, that pin badge. I got a program. Hang on, where's my program? Is it this one? Hang on. It is. Woo! It is very thick. It's got lots of writing, lots of stage production photos. Oh, just looking at it now, just remind. Oh no, no. Just there's a scene. I don't mind saying this out loud. Hal. So let me face the camera. The camera, microphone. There's a scene in Spirited Away that always gets me very emotionally, and I always cry at that stage. It means a lot to me. I was talking about loneliness and all that, and that scene sums up the relief of someone releasing you from loneliness. I won't describe the scene or what it is, but it's just basic. It's about halfway through the film. It's when Haku is offering some, after seeing her parents as pigs, she sits down and offered something to eat by Haku, and she just cries, and I can feel that emotion of release of just, for me, it's just being safe and all that, and like I said, she's alone. She doesn't feel alone anymore. She's not lost and things like that. That's how I interpret it, anyway. I literally just saw that scene in the program. I'm like, oh no, got to look away before I cry, things like that. So even that just triggered it, and I genuinely, honestly, I got triggered. I think I saw merchandise had that scene, and I got very triggered and just started crying. So yeah, I said that's how much Spirited Away means to me and things like that. That was good. I'm trying to think what I've done next. Not really, not much. I'm now looking at June, and there's not much there besides Spirited Away. What's this? Oh God, God. I did a food journey in at the end of June, where I was going to go to all the places I kept seeing on TikTok about all like this barbecue place called Holy Smokes in East London. Still haven't got to it, but it's on my list. But there's like all these all you can eat meat places or chicken wings and things like that. So I went to one place which is all you can eat steakhouse, and it was like, oh God, that filled me up so much. And about 3-4 hours later, I went to an oyster bar. Not oyster bar. Well, it's meant to be like I think it's a wine restaurant that serves good vibe. But they do basically oyster, £1 an oyster. And then the TikTok video I saw was basically this woman ordered 30 oysters, ate them all, said it was delicious, ordered 20 more. So she had £50 worth of oysters. I looked at that and went, oh my God, I could easily do that as well. Thank goodness I didn't that day. I had about, how much did I have? £15 worth, I think. And I enjoyed every bite. I know me saying oysters, some people go, bleh, bleh. That's fine. Again, I like oysters. You don't have to like oysters like I do. But I'm just saying, I had a really good time eating some good food. I'd like to, like I said, I'm trying to branch out a little bit more. I'm trying to enjoy life for me, and not always be in front of my computer, either podcasting or editing photos, things like that. What's that? Oh God! Again, like I said, I'm going out to do more. So I saw the Across the Spider-Verse concert. So if anyone's not unaware of it, I want to say Daniel Pemberton. Daniel, I really am not prepared for this podcast. Oh, Pemberton, yes, I did get it. Who wrote the music for both Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse? I'll be surprised if he's not for the third one, Beyond the Spider-Verse. But last year he did a concert of, so they played the whole film out, and there's an orchestra there that's playing the whole film out, and the orchestra's playing it live with the film. He did the same thing for Across the Spider-Verse, and oh my God, it was amazing. I will admit, I probably enjoyed the first concert more. I can't remember why, but honestly, that last track for me in Across the Spider, anyone who knows me, who's heard the Across the Spider-Verse podcast, that episode that I recorded, the music there, I still think the music was better in the first one, but that last track before the credits hits, that combination of all that music going to, loved it. Oh my goodness, loved it. I'm gonna have to listen to that soundtrack when I go to work. But honestly, I that's a really good thing. I hope you're hearing how much I'm going out a bit more. I'm enjoying life. There's a lot of things I'm doing on my own at the moment, and that's something that I'm trying to get used to a bit more. It's sort of like feeling comfortable in not saying my own skin, but in my own company. I don't deal with being on my own well. Again, I'm sure you probably noticed that when I mentioned about the loneliness when I got ill, and I've been told by friends I should, just go out a bit more and things like that. And so I am. I'm trying to do it, and some successes, some fails. And that's not a problem. That's it's not a huge issue. I'm learning a bit more about myself, what I like and don't like. But the spending it with my nephew, who also loves Spider-Man, he enjoyed it so much, and it was really good fun. I loved it. we're almost coming to the present day now. Actually, almost to the present day. What else have I been up to? What's that I say? Oh no, that's fine. That's something else. Oh God, I tell you something. I haven't done a film review in a while, and I don't know if Inside Out 2 counts as a film review that I should do, because I know people can cosplay from that, and I've seen people cosplay from. Oh God, yeah, I've had some people cosplay from. Anyway, Inside Out 2. If you get a chance to see that in the cinema, or just when it gets to Disney Plus, to Disney Plus. Hang on, I've got to be very careful how I say this. You might become an emotional wreck watching it, so just prepare yourself. Be prepared that you might come out there. Again, watched it with my nephew and my sister, and I was trying to hold it back. I really was. I was trying to hold it back because I didn't want my sister to look at me and go, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" So I was holding it back, and I looked to them, and I could see both my nephew and my sister crying. So I got my hand in my pocket was Pret tissues, and I passed it over, and then they're dabbing their eyes. And once I knew I was in a safe company that I could like release my emotions, it was fun. It was funny to me at the same time, but it was a very emotional film. It spoke to me at a time in my life that I'm questioning a lot about my identity. I don't want to ruin the film too much, but yeah, I might do a podcast review of it when it hits Disney Plus. I think that's a good time to bring it out. I'm talking about podcast reviews. I feel like I should do one for the X-Men, X-Men 97, because I think that show was so good. And I love to talk about more, especially from a cosplay stance, because I think, I will admit, I have to say, I think for me, and if I do a podcast review, I'll expand on this point. But I think the animation versions of these characters, which I know they're pulled from the comics. So let's say from the comic book versions of these characters, I think are so much more superior to movie versions at times. Don't get me wrong, movie versions more real to life and things like that. I totally understand that, and again, that's aesthetically pleasing. But the comic book version, sometimes the bright colours, the sharp shapes and things like that, like Wolverine, instantly with the cut off sleeves, and the yellow and the blue highlights, the cowl. Instantly that's Wolverine, things like that. If they're all wearing black leather, they're just black leather, things like that. And I think I will actually I might have to look that up and see if I can find people who do a review of X-Men 97. I know it's been out for a couple of months, but it's neither too late. And there's so many good character designs. I was talking about this to a friend when I was in Manchester. I said, sometimes I love game designs, but I don't want to play the game. And because I think sometimes how some characters are drawn or designed and things like that, for some reason, it's just so it amazes me more than actually playing the game. So, it's actually quite cool and quite good. But recently, so we're more or less getting into the present day, and like I said, the 19th of July will always sit in my head. But the day after that, I went to see one of my favourite bands called Garbage. Please do not message me to say, "Oh, they rubbish." I've heard it all. I've heard it all since teenager to now, and I sit proudly looking at. You'll hear this again in the next podcast because I just listened to it now. I have bought a LP vinyl of their anthology album, and I'm staring at it right now. And it cost me a lot of money. It cost me like £80. I don't. Oh God, no! I better not look at it. I'll look at it when I get paid. Which I have been paid actually. Damn it. I'm looking at the album and it's all signed and I love it. Absolutely love it. The vinyls. I've also looked at the vinyls. It's all yellow press as well, so it's not just any old black vinyl press. It's like they've put some thought into it. I wish it was. I don't know if it's pattern or not, but I think when I looked at it quickly, it wasn't. It's just a yellow press, and I wish they did add a bit of pattern to it and things like that. But I love this band so much. I was just shouting, singing to all the songs that I could remember. I somehow missed my favorite track of it. I honestly loved that concert so much, and I will always see that band no matter what. Although I think I did say to myself, I think this is it for me. I don't know if I would really want to see them in another, depending on what the album sounded like, because I think the last two albums weren't to my taste. It didn't really like speak to me. So we'll see what the future holds for that band. But again, I think I'm trying to post a bit more like live stuff onto my socials. It's not always easy for me to do that. But I will. But after that concert, I needed that concert after the 19th of July. That my soul needed that. I had to go. That concert really reset me a lot. And then what was it, the Sunday? This is how packed my weekend was. I drove up from London all the way to Manchester to meet with friends to go to the Batman Unmasked exhibition. Again, amazing day. Enjoyed it. Huge Batman fan. I love the world of Batman, Bruce Wayne. Oh God, I just doxed him. Sorry, I didn't mean to reveal his identity, but yes. I'm sure you all know who Batman's real identity, and if not, spoiler alert. But yeah, I hope I really enjoyed that whole exhibition. I'm a massive fan of the films, all of them, including Batman and Robin, which I know everyone hates, but I like that film. So they're all good films to me. They're all both, I love the Christopher Nolan films, but for me, the GOAT of all Batmans is Michael Keaton. Oh, he'll always be Batman to me. And it was a great. I got to see his cowl and all that, and it was brilliant. If you're again Batman fan, I don't know how long it's in Manchester, but it's in London sometime in September. So if you want to book that, go for it. That was it. What else? Oh God, I keep flicking around on my phone. What else? I'll tell you what's coming up in when this goes. So when this goes out, I will be queuing up to see a New Zealand comedian that I've been following for about a couple of years now. And when I heard that she was coming to this country, I went, "Oh, that's it! I've got to go and watch. I've got to go and see her now." So I'm now seeing her in a theatre. I think is it a theatre? I don't know if it's called a theatre. Yeah, it's the theatre, Soho Theatre. I think in Soho. And then the next day, when the next podcast comes out, I'm going to see another comedian. So I've had to like really plan and fit in all these podcast records that I'm trying to fit in. But yeah, I absolutely love it. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. And I'm going to VeeCon, which I'm looking forward to. I can't wait to be there. It's one of my outside of the UK cons I love doing and visiting. So yeah, do that. I'd like to take this opportunity actually to announce something, which I don't know if people are prepared to hear this. I won't be at MCM London in October. I've had a prior engagement. I've been invited to a wedding. It clashes with MCM London, and I again, just a bit more into my own psyche. I moan when I don't get invited to things, and I got invited to this wedding. I went, do I do Comic Con thing? And I shouldn't think like that. I should go to this wedding. So I'm going to this wedding. I had to. It sounded like I was like deliberating over a while. I wasn't. But when I enjoy both going to a Comic Con and to a wedding, and you just go, oh, can I justify? No, you shouldn't justify. Not every day your friend gets married. Comic Con's always there, so I'm going to the wedding. It was an easy choice. Don't think I struggled that much. So just to say, I won't be at MCM London Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. We'll see about the Sunday, but yeah, I hope everyone who's going. I'll still do a podcast review with people who went, so I can inquire how the event went and things like that. But yeah, I just I yeah I've been a very fortunate person right now. I'm doing a lot for myself, and I'm enjoying who I am at the moment, and yeah, it's good to be me at the moment. I'm still having bad days. I'm still having good days, but the good is starting to outweigh the bad, and I'm seeing a different version of me now. And I keep saying new Eddie, old Eddie. That's how I quantify him. I feel like there's a new Eddie now. He still gets sad. He still gets upset. He still gets annoyed with life, but sometimes he has a different attitude about how to deal with a situation, which is always good. Anyway, I probably should wrap up because right now for me it's late. I probably should actually go to bed soon, so I'm going to do that. So usually at this junction I would do links. So let's do links. So if anyone's for some reason not following me on the social, if you go to foodandcosplay.org/links, that's all where you'll find all my social media links. And if you go to foodandcosplay.org generally, you'll find cosplay photos that I've taken at events. And then if you go to foodandcosplay.org/podcast, that's you find previously recorded podcasts that I've recorded with other guests, with other topics, other film reviews, TV reviews, you name it. I've probably done it. No, that's not a lie. But I've done some. I've done other things. The next episode, I can tell you straight away, it's an unscripted. You may think this is an unscripted. No, this is a Dear Diary about me. Unscripted with other people chatting about things. It's with Sib of Shield Photography and Lydia with Celery Moon Design. And we had those two chatterbox, especially Lydia, they could not stop talking, and it was funny because I was just sitting there going, when will I talk? When will I butt in? But yeah, fun day, absolute fun day. Oh shoot! I forgot to mention. I went to see You Lie in April last night. For me last night on Sunday, and oh my god, again I was another emotional wreck that day. It's interesting the way it's filmed, staged and all that. I've not watched the anime. I might go out my way to watch the anime to compare it. If you're a fan of You Lie in April or fan of manga, Japanese style storytelling, go watch it while you can. I think they are doing a Cosplay Sunday promotion of some sort. I don't know what that entails. I was invited, so I can't tell you. I can find out details if you're interested, but just drop me a message and I'll find out for you. There was definitely a discount for the merch stand, so if you're wearing cosplay, they'll give you a discount on the purchases there. Sorry, just want to quickly add that in and things like that. But other than that, I hope you have a lovely day. Hope you listen to the next podcast, and I'll hopefully do another Dear Diary when I'm comfortable doing one on my own again. So yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. So bye guys.